Our system for financing political campaigns is broken across the country and right here in New York State. I'm Michael Pernick, an attorney and voting rights lawyer from Long Island. I used to manage political campaigns, and I saw firsthand how our system is broken. Leaders and ordinary Americans from across the political spectrum agree that our campaign finance system does not work. 85% of Americans think that we need to fundamentally change our system for financing political campaigns. Here in New York State, Preet Bharara famously said that state senators are more likely to be arrested for corruption than defeated in their re-election. And everyone knows that all too many of our elected officials only serve wealthy special interests rather than ordinary voters. The tax bill that passed Congress was a naked attempt to satisfy a tiny percentage of the American population, those who donate exorbitant sums to political campaigns. That's why people called it the Donor Relief Act of 2017. Many Republican leaders who voted for the bill admitted that they had no choice. If they didn't, their campaign contributions would dry up. Our broken campaign finance system poses an existential threat to our democratic system. But there is a path forward, and we could start right here in New York. There's a lot that our leaders in Albany can do to fix these problems. We can close the LLC loophole. We can impose real contribution limits. But today, I want to talk about public financing of political campaigns. Over 13 states and countless localities have enacted systems in which qualifying candidates can receive public funds to finance their campaigns. In exchange, participating candidates agree to limitations on their ability to rely on large donations from special interests or the ultra-rich. There are a number of ways to do this. New York City, for example, uses a small donor matching system. Small contributions are matched 6-to-1. As a result, candidates and elected officials are incentivized to speak with small donors rather than wealthy special interests. In Connecticut, qualifying candidates receive lump sum grants from the state. In exchange, they're prohibited from continuing to solicit contributions for their campaigns. These systems are great. Instead of relying on big donors, candidates can focus on ordinary voters. And after they win, elected officials are no longer beholden to the special interests that finance their campaign. In addition, our leaders can actually spend their time governing rather than raising money for their re-election. A few years ago, there was a lot of talk about passing a system of public financing here in New York State. In fact, we did pass a pilot program for public financing for the state comptroller's office, but the plan was deeply flawed and underfunded, and our current state comptroller, who supports public financing, didn't even participate because the system was so broken. Since then, these efforts have stalled here in New York, even as others around the country got to work. Early last year, Washington, D.C. passed public financing for their elections, and they were joined by Montgomery County in Maryland. And right here on Long Island, Suffolk County is moving ahead with public financing for their local elections. It's time for New York State to catch up. New York should implement a robust system of public financing for candidates for the state legislature and statewide offices, including governor. Good programs have been proposed at the state level, and they would not be expensive. They'd only cost a few dollars per New Yorker. That's a small price to pay for a program that will not only combat corruption, but help fix Albany, where all too many elected officials prioritize the needs of special interest donors over the needs of ordinary voters. New Yorkers deserve a campaign finance system that works for us. Public financing of our elections is a good place to start.